Let's read Bear and Bird, the Cloud. There was somebody new in the woody wood forest. It was a bear called Bear, a bear who was looking for a friend. But it seemed like all the friends were already taken. Everybody's got somebody, said Bear. Everybody but me. And he sat down under a shady tree, which is what Bear did when he felt a bit sad. Then suddenly a small voice said, "Excuse me, my name's Bird and I'm looking for something. I wonder if you have seen it." "Oh," said Bear, "my name's Bear and I'm looking for something too." "What is it you are looking for?" "The puffy, fluffy octopus cloud," said Bird. "I've heard there's one floating around, but if you haven't seen it, I guess I will be on my way." "This is my chance," thought Bear. "Hey, Bird," said Bear, "I know how to find the puffy, fluffy octopus cloud. I have an idea." "You do?" said Bird. Yes," said Bear, scratching his head as he looked around, trying to think of something. Then Mouse went past in her story truck, and Bear shouted, "Books! If we read a book about clouds, we'd be cloud experts. Then we would easily find the octopus cloud." Bird thought this sounded like a good idea. And so Bear started reading a book about clouds. But it didn't have enough pictures. And so he read a book called Pongo's Big Party instead. Bird loved Bear's story time. By the time they had finished the book, there were no puffy, fluffy octopuses. "Don't worry, Bird," said Bear. "I have another idea." "Oh, good," said Bird. Bear scratched his head and looked around trying to think of something. "Party!" yelled Bear. "If we had an octopus party, then the octopus cloud might come along." Bird thought this sounded like a good idea. She liked parties. So they had an octopus party with bubbles, seaweed sandwiches, and a cake with 8 spoons each. Bear showed Bird his dance moves, and Bird made up a song. And they were having so much fun that they forgot to look up. After all, the cake was eaten. Bird said, "Oh, where are you, puffy, fluffy octopus cloud?" Bear was busy scratching his head. "Balloons!" yelled Bear. "If we look a little higher, we will surely find it." "Look, Bear, there," said Bird. "There's my house. And that's Badger Cafe. And there's the leaky lake." Bird was enjoying giving Bear the woody wood forest tour. The tour didn't include the puffy, fluffy octopus behind them. When they landed, Bird said, "Got any more ideas, Bear?" Bear scratched his head and looked around for another idea. But this time it didn't work. If he couldn't help Bird, then Bear wasn't sure if he was okay to stay. And so he said, I've run out of ideas, Bird, so I guess I will be on my way. Oh, said Bird, okay. Bear didn't really want to go, and Bird didn't really want him to go either. But off he went, back to that shady tree. All Bird could think about was Bear, and all Bear could think about was Bird. Then suddenly Bird was running towards Bear, with her wings waving at the sky. What is it? Thought Bear. It's a cloud, said Bird, and it looks just like you and me. Wowzers, said Bear. It really does. And then Bird had an idea. Bear, would you like to camp out with me tonight? I've got a tent and everything, said Bird. Bear thought that sounded like a good idea. And as they got all snugly, Bird remembered something. What were you looking for this morning, Bear? Oh, said Bear, I think I found it. Now, Bird, let's make sure we don't fall asleep and miss the puffy fluffy. Oh dear, Bear and Bird never did find that puffy fluffy octopus cloud. But it didn't really matter. They found something even better. Good night, Bear. Good night, Bird. Sweet dreams.